Hello everyone, I'm Tina of Tina's Workshop, and we'll see how long I can go before the dog starts barking and I have to get up and let him in. Um, anyway, today is Friday, October 18th, and this is episode 31, and we actually had rain last Saturday when my video went up. I mean, we had a lot of rain. So we went from being in the hundreds for like a week, and then all of a sudden we had rain. And now it's cooled off. It's more like fall. We're in the 40s at night, and it's currently, I just looked down and it said 71. Now it says 67. Now it says 71 again. I don't think that I'm not even going to say what it's called because then it will respond to me. I don't think she even knows what the temperature is. Anyway, we've been actually, so we had the rain, lots of rain, and then the very next day we went into a firestorm watch, and we've been in a firestorm watch all week. And it's still, I think it was supposed to end yesterday, but we're still in a firestorm watch. But I will say it was really, really windy yesterday. But, and then I woke up this morning to the sounds of a car crash. So we've got a main traffic light that's not too far from us, which is why when I'm outside recording, you hear lots of traffic sounds because they're coming up to that traffic light. And according to my Caltrans app, it was 2 SUVs and a sedan that crashed, but the sounds of the crash woke me up. So, but it said that there was only moderate injuries, I think is what it said. So anyway, that was, at least there was no major injuries or anything. Okay, so finished objects. I guess we'll go right into finished objects. I finished the little pumpkin that I was showing you last time, and I will put a picture of it up because I already gave it away. And the person I gave it to absolutely loved it, and I think it came out really cute, though I'm still not a fan of working with that kind of yarn, that suede velvety yarn. It came out really cute for this project. The color, the texture, everything, it looks great, but if you try to pull back out, it just doesn't like to pull back out. It catches on itself too much. The reason I'm usually not a fan of it is when I first started working with it years ago, and I'm sure it's better quality now, but years ago it just broke way too easily. But as far as working with it, it worked beautifully. It was just if I needed to pull a stitch back out, it was incredibly hard to pull the stitch back out. So still not a huge fan of it. But I think the pumpkin came out really cute. And then worked a little bit on the laser. My oldest son had wanted my other son and I to cut a Stanley Cup, engrave on a Stanley Cup for a gift. And we did not want to take the chance of ruining the expensive Stanley Cup. So my sister-in-law a while back had bought some cups on clearance at Walmart so that we could play around with them. So we practiced first. Now, originally he was going to have us do this almost a month ago. We practiced then, and while it was all fresh in our head and we had it going right, he didn't have us do it. So then when we finally did it, we practiced, and so I did this on one side of the cup. Let's see if you can see it. It says easily distracted by spinning wheels. It's kind of hard to see with the light on it. And so then we thought, well, let's do another practice just to make sure. So on this side I put Tina's Workshop, and you can see it's crooked. So the cup had actually come loose a little bit as it was working. So we're like, okay, what happened on this one, I don't know if you can see, but focus. The D's aren't, which I tried to sand them a little bit later, but on the edges hadn't engraved as well. Well, then we realized we had forgotten to put it onto the router, the little machine that actually turns it. So it had done this just straight. So then when we did this side, we made sure it was on the router, and you can see it went all the way around, so it worked really nicely. It was just that I didn't have this tight. So we knew that that's what that problem was. So we put the other cup in and we run it. And I haven't touched anything. I look at it and I'm like, oh crud. The stuff on the edges had not engraved. So I had to do some finagling in the computer so that I was only going to do those letters, but they were going to be in the exact same spot as, you know, where they're supposed to be. Lots of technical stuff. Get that all set up. I run it again, run that at a little bit of higher power so that it engraves those. And I'm like, awesome. You take it out, the whole thing's all nice and black, so when you pull it out, it's black, and then you wipe it off because you've got some soot residue, and then you wipe all that off so you get the shiny. Take it out, wipe it off. The letters that we went and redid, because I mean they hadn't engraved at all, they were great. But all the center stuff, I should have re-engraved the whole thing, but I didn't know. All the center stuff, it had only gone through some of the layers of paint, because we hadn't realized the Stanley Cup paint is thicker than what's on these cheap ones. So it needed to have a stronger laser power. And we thought it had gone through it because it was all the black, and then we wiped it off. Well, if I had done like I did before and, you know, had left everything where it was, I could have redone it. But I wouldn't have known it needed done until I took it out. My son and I sat there for, it was at least an hour, if not two, trying to get this thing configured back into the right spot so that we could re-engrave that center part. Long story short, we tried many different things, and in the end, it would, like the first word, one letter in because the first word only had 3 letters, so the one letter would line up perfectly, the other 2 letters were way off. Then you'd switch, you'd get one of the other letters to line up, and the other ones would be off. It would not, no matter what we did. The only way we might have been able to do it would have been to literally engrave one letter at a time. So consequently, when it was done, the center part had it like, I mean, you could still read it, but it was, the cup was pink, the writing was white, and then 2 letters on either side were actually silver. I felt so bad, but I was also so extremely tired by that point because it was like midnight and he was actually flying out the next morning. I had to get up really early and take him to the airport, and that's what he needed. The cup was going with him. I felt bad. I didn't completely ruin his cup. I mean, it was still usable. It just was not fully engraved, and I felt really bad about it, but there was nothing I could do about it at that point. So, got myself a cute cup here. Don't know when I'll actually use it because I have other ones that I use. But anyway, it was interesting, and I've realized I don't like to do cups. They're too hard. But then, let's see, so another day, it was last Saturday when it was raining all day, I decided to sew. And I sewed this project bag. That was the Dollar Tree fabric. And I actually did 2. So this one has no handle. Basically, I cut the fabric I had into 2 so that I could make 2 bags. And so I just went with the size I had, and I did not have any extra fabric to then do handle with. But I did 2 bags, so one was like this, and then the other bag had that on the outside. with this on the inside. So they were reversed. And I gave the other bag already to my sister-in-law. So we each got a bag out of it because if you remember, I said she really liked that fabric. So I made her bag, made myself a bag. But I got, out of the Dollar Tree fabric, I got 2 bags. So for $2.50 worth of fabric, I got 2 bags. Then I did the stuff on it. I did the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory fabric. So I did 2 bags, and they're reversed. So this one has the Oompa Loompas on the inside and all the characters on the outside, and this one has the Oompa Loompas on the outside with all the characters on the inside. And I made these ones just a little bit larger than the basic project bags because sometimes the smaller ones just aren't big enough. So these ones were a little bit larger. They were around, most of the basic sizes I do are usually about 11 by 11, and these were around 13 by 13. Yeah, that I cut the fabric, so they end up about 12. So I think they both came out super cute. I haven't put anything in them yet. And it took longer than I thought. The dog's barking. Let me go let him in, and then I'll show you the rest of the bags. There we go. Okay, so then I had the Halloween fabric. And I did this one. And it has the orange on the inside. And I'm using this set already. I did a small one. So, and then this one I have all my little goodies in, and that one's got the orange too. So it's got all my notions and stuff in it. And then I've just been taking that one and putting it down inside of this one. But I really like that. And I still have the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and this, I still have more fabric. I did not use it all, but I don't really, I do gift the bags from time to time, but I don't really sell the bags. I just make them because I like them, and I see fabric and I want to have a bag like that, so I do it. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4, so I did 6 bags that day. And you know, you don't always realize how long it takes to make those bags. I spent all day making bags, and I've been sewing most of my life, so I know what I'm doing. It just takes a while to do it all. So let's see. One other finished item, and this is going to be in a upcoming video. I'm going to do a video with little like ornaments and stuff. Every year or every other year I make some little small thing that I will give out to different friends and stuff that I might not be buying a big present for, but you know, I'll want to give them something small, and so I'll make a bunch of something. And so I'm going to show some of the different things I've made in the past, talk about things that could be made, and this is my one for this year. Come on, focus, 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 focus. There we go. So it's a little Christmas tree, and I figured out my pattern. You know, with any pattern, trial and error and lots of frogging, but this is what I ended up with, which is what I had in my head. And it can be used as an ornament, or it could have a pin back, it could go on a hair clip, you know, different things. But anyway, that will be in an upcoming video. So if you're interested in how I did that, or the other ideas I have, then stay tuned for that. You know, make sure you hit notify. And to hit that notify, make sure you've subscribed, and then please click like for me too. Okay, so that's pretty much my finished objects. I did finish one of my squares for Wonderland Yarns, and I worked on that one for a number of hours yesterday. It takes, if you're watching me and you're not actually a knitter or crochet or something, sometimes it seems like we whip these things out, but it takes quite a while. So I had a couple different shows I was watching as I did the one square that's only 7 by 7 inches yesterday. And I'm gonna say it probably took me at least 4 hours, if not more, to do this one square. So it takes a little bit of time, but I did finish that square. I need to do, that was the knit square. I need to do the crocheted square today so I can record the video that will go up Wednesday. So if you'd like to see that square, then stay tuned for Wednesday's video. And speaking of videos, I don't know if you had a chance to see my video this last Wednesday, and if you are interested in processing fleece yourself, then make sure and watch my series of videos. So this last one was skirting a fleece, which is getting it prepared to be cleaned. The next video, which will come after this week's Wonderland Yarns, it'll come the week after, and that will be scouring a fleece, which is washing it. And after that one will be naturally dyeing, and then carding, spinning, and then ultimately, I don't know how long it'll take for this last video, we'll be knitting a sweater out of that fleece that I've gone through the process of preparing. So stay tuned for all of those. Okay, on to works in progress, aka whips. Grab the right bag. Nope, that wasn't the bag I wanted. That's the bag I wanted. Ha. Going in order of what I have on my list so that I don't forget something. So, in my open sauce bag is the Quay Scarf by Jared Flood, and I did get a little work done on this. I was very tired this week. I had trouble catching up on sleep. So when I would sit down to work on this at night, I was too tired to really work on it. But that being said, there's where I was at last week, and I did get that much done. So it's growing. So I'm still working on that third repeat, I think. I'm almost done. So there's this big wide space you can see here, and then you've got lots of little tight crisscrosses. So I'm currently working on the wide space, which is the easier space because there's no cabling right there. And I'm actually still on my first skein of yarn. And the yarn is, haven't been mentioning what the yarn is, and I don't have a label in there. Okay, there it is. Lion Brand Heartland yarn. So it's acrylic yarn because that'll be easier for my son to have to deal with. And the color is called Black Canyon. And it's just a worsted weight acrylic yarn. So that one is getting somewhere. Oh, the yarn's following me. And then there is my other son's Musselburgh hat that I'm working on. So, well, I'll show you. So today is Wednesday, and I decided last night that I want to frog this whole hat. So that's where I have gotten in this Musselburgh hat. But where everything finally clicked what I was doing with my tension since I switched knitting styles. And I talked about this last week. So I have larger stitches here that get a little better here, and now they're really tight because I am using a size 0. And I had big spaces here of stitching. But I like the size better of the stitches here. And when I talked to my other son that I had already made a hat for, he agreed that this size stitch was going to be nicer than this because you're not going to have much give or anything here. So I could continue, but I still have 3 times this much to do. And working this, I think, is going to take longer than if I totally start over. So that being said, not to mention where my stitches are very tight and I keep pushing on the needle, it kind of hurts. To be perfectly honest, it hurts. But, you know it can be fun to enjoy watching somebody else's pain, in a sense, of frogging something. And you get that whole thing, like as soon as you start doing this and it's like, all the stitches coming off. So I decided I would film this today and put it in my podcast on when I record on Friday, but I didn't want to wait that long to actually do this because I want to be able to start on it again. So I'm going to go up to, instead of a size 0, so you can see how tiny my needles are, I'm going to go up to a size 3 needle. And I think that size stitch is going to be much better. So here we go. You ready? I wonder. I forgot. I wove in that end. So I think that little piece right there is just going to be a lost cause. It's like a little spider. Should see if I can scare my son with it. Well, now that was actually kind of satisfying, but now I have a lap full of crinkled yarn that I need to skein back up, and I just dropped the end. That was not very smart, Tina. Where's the end? Yeah. Definitely was not smart. Ooh, 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 I found it. I found it. Now, we can recake it. Well, now, there is how much I had already spun up next to what I had left. I had a lot, not spun up, sorry, knitted up. So there was a lot there. But now, because I started making that cake from the other end, I have to keep going with the rest of this. Well, now I can start over. Come on. Focus. Focus. It doesn't want to focus. Anyway, from hat, back to yarn, and hopefully soon back to hat. So stay tuned. So, the Musselburgh hat is currently all in a cake. I have not restarted it. I might get it restarted today. I am restarting, so I had it on zeros and I'm going to do it on US 3. Why is it not focusing? Focus. You guys know what knitting noodles look like. I've got Chow lace, red lace, but I'm going to be using number 3 instead, and I think that is going to be a lot nicer. So that is a definite work in progress. We'll see how far I get by next week, because that's usually the one that stays in my purse bag. It is currently in my Happy Mermaid Yarn Company bag, and okay, I think I know what I need to. Hold on a second. Okay, that worked. I had to turn off the camera and turn it back on. So, Happy Mermaid Yarn Company bag. And that was my main project bag, so it's got the pattern and everything in it. So I put it back in here until I get the crown done, and then I'll put it back in my other one to go when I'm on the stuff that's just straight knitting. So that one, yeah, we'll see how that goes. The little tiny piece that I said looked like a spider, I decided to use it as a spider, so it is now the spider on the spinning wheel. Um, okay, let's see. Next. Ooh, my new one. This one I'm really, really liking. I mean, I'm like super excited about this one. And it's always nice when you have a project that makes you excited. So this is the Batad by Stephen West. And I'm usually, honestly, not a huge fan of Stephen West designs just because they are really out there and wild and stuff. And that's not my thing. But if you can tone it down, like, you know, use one color or just two neutral colors or something, his designs can be very pretty. But this one I saw, I think I told you guys about it last week, that I was going to do it. I did, because I had seen this one on the Playful Knitter. And if she had not shown it on there, I don't think it's something I would have ever done. But I loved the way that she wore it. And it actually kind of matches my bag, so that's kind of fun. See? Matches. I'm really enjoying this. Kind of like when I do the Emotional Support Chicken. I really like the knit. And I think I've decided it must be short rows that I like, because this has lots of short rows and I'm really enjoying it. So trying to untangle myself here. So here is how it's looking. I'm on to the, so you do one row or one section with this color, one section with that color, and you keep switching. So I am on the next section of that first color. It's worked for like 8 rows straight, and then you have to pick up stitches on the back and work a row with those stitches together to create this little bump. So this next one will have a little piece like this that sticks out right there. And so when you're working the short rows, so you can see this, how wide it is here. When you come to this side, it's very narrow. So it creates this cape-like look. And I was watching another YouTuber, and trying to think of what her name is. Had to look it up. Craft House Magic. Couldn't think of it. But I ended up searching for the Batad on YouTube just to see what some other people might have done with theirs and stuff. And she had shown one about a year ago. And when she was talking about it, she said she had looked it up and Batad was a place. And they have the rice paddies on the hill, so you've got these carved out areas of the rice paddies with that strip in between. And she said it makes sense that that's what it looks like, because it's that same kind of look. And I was like, oh, she's right. That really makes sense as to the looks. And I've always thought that was just so beautiful with all the rice paddies. So anyway, I am really enjoying this. It's a fun knit, and I almost forgot. So I am using Playful Day yarn and Fiber Circle Studio yarn, both of which are out of Petaluma. They are both fingering, and the Fiber Circle Studio is their sock hop color, which is called Twinkle, and this, which is 85 superwash merino, 15% nylon. And this one is a yak fingering, which is 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. Oh, didn't focus again. My camera's being weird. Anyway, so I want to just sit and work on this because, like I said, I'm really enjoying it. So I want to do it, and I'm like, I've got other stuff I need to do. Probably shouldn't have cast it on, but I really wanted to because I want to actually get it done, and I actually really want to wear that. Oh, I forgot to put that back in the bag. If I don't do it now, I'll go to use it later and it won't be there. Okay, the convertible 4-way wrap. That's a Caron pattern, and I'm using the Caron Cloud Cakes. That's just a polyester yarn, and I don't think I marked it last time. I've only done a little bit on it, so it might even be close to the same place it was last time. I don't remember because I forgot to mark it. So I need to put in a progress keeper. What did I do right there? Oh, there we go. Okay. We'll use a little martini glass. I don't even drink, but it's getting a martini glass in it. So, I need to do that on the batot too. I need to put a progress keeper in it. So there we go. We got a progress keeper. We'll see how we do. This one I'm actually not enjoying as much, and it is a straight garter stitch, but it's not the easiest yarn to work with. It's not hard, but it's not easy either. So I don't know. But I want to do it, and I want to complete it because I think it'll be neat. I also did a little bit of spinning this week on my little Nano. I had issues with this spinning wheel pretty much since I got it, and it just runs like really slow for me and stuff. So I had put another thing up on the Facebook group, and people gave me some ideas. So I actually changed the feeder guides here. I made a little gasket in here, that little red spot. I actually did with one of my knitting stitch markers that's like a little rubber gasket, and I folded it over and put it on the screw in there. So that's to help keep this from slipping. This helps to keep the yarn so that it glides better, because these are the ones that it comes with, and I guess it catches some on there, and I didn't even think about that. I actually put this back in. I usually don't have that in because that was one of the first things people told me to take out. So I put it back in because it was wobbling so much, and I actually really like that in there now. But so I was using some of this Malabrigo, and I have spun that up, and I think the colors look really pretty. So I've just been randomly sitting here because I can plug it into the battery and take it with me, but I also have a foot pedal my husband got me. So the foot pedal's all plugged in right here at my desk, so I can just grab that and plug it in here. So I've just been leaving it out and randomly grabbing it and working on it just for the heck of it from time to time, and so I've got a little bit done on that. I told you about Wonderland Yarns already. I've done some work on the scrappy blanket. I'm not going to unfold it because it's getting really big now. So yeah, so this is like around the center. Coming out, there's my marker from last time, and I've gotten that much done, which doesn't seem like a lot here, but the rows are getting really big now, and I've just switched to this blue, so I'm about halfway around with the blue, so that much blue, and then I'll switch to another color that I'm again just randomly picking a ball out of the bag and working it. So there's no rhyme or reason to the colors, but I will say I've had it laying over me as I've been working on it, and it's so cozy. I do, you know, my favorite blanket I have is, it was not random, but I was working from my stash, but it's very colorful like this, which is not me, but it's like the coziest blanket. And I think where it is more of a random color too, I'm not like sitting there going, oh, I need to be really careful and make sure that I don't muss it up or something. So I've got, I think I might have about 5 more that are smaller balls before I actually maybe start grabbing some of my big skeins. We'll just see how big I decide to have it go. So where did there it is. Move that while I'm thinking about it. Oh, come on, get off of there. I have a little tiny one. I don't like these kind. I got just that itty bitty little. I might actually change it to one of these. You know what we'll do? We'll put one of these in it. One of these big ones. We can see that really easy. So we'll put that right there. There we go. That's better. That's an easier one to move. So that's where that one's at. I have been randomly picking it up because it's a really easy one. I don't need to have lights on. I can do it by feel. So that's kind of a nice one to just lay there watching TV and working it. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to put a marker in this. So I have another project that is going to be getting started. I was trying to finish the Wonderland yarn squares since I need to do the video on that one. But I got asked a couple nights ago if I would make a Halloween costume. So if you remember the Dobby Christmas stocking that I did and the Scrump little doll I did, so those were for my husband's cousin. For their new little baby, and they want to dress her as Princess Peach for Halloween. And she knows how to play on me because she said, I don't know anybody that crochets as good as you. And I was like, makes me think of my son when he'll be like, Mom, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, go make, you say he wants a burrito or something, we'll go make it. But Mom, you make it better than me, you little turkey. So that's what it made me think of, was my son, but you make it better. And she's like, I don't know anybody who crochets as nice as you. And I was like, okay. So she wants her daughter to be Princess Peach. So let me switch this. So this is the costume that she is wanting. And luckily there was a pattern, because you all know what it's like when you're trying to do something without a pattern. And there's some things that are a little bit easier to do without a pattern than others. And this is not the type of thing I do very often. The hat, no problem. But the little dress, I was really glad there's a pattern. So I bought the pattern, and it is Tina Crochet Patterns on Ravelry and Etsy. And I searched it wrong first because I put Tina's, but it's Tina. And I had to laugh that the person's name is also Tina. It's, believe it or not a real common name. But she has a whole bunch of these types of patterns. And so this is what I have to do, but I don't have to do the little shoes, which I was glad, because I haven't tried it in years, but every time I would try and make little shoes like that, the second one I would always mess up on. So, so I have to do the dress and the little hat. So that is my next work in progress. I've got everything all together so that I can start it. I bought the pattern. It's a 30-page pattern, so I did not print it. I am using my tablet. And hopefully it won't take too long. I don't think so, but I wanted to do the Wonderland yarn squares first because I need to do them for my video this week. And then I'll work on that, which means other things are getting put by the wayside until I get that done. So if I have it done by next week, then it might already be in the mail and I'll have to show you pictures. So we'll see. Have not gotten anything done on my cozy memories. Gee, I wonder why. And I only have one acquisition this week. I've wanted this, did I get something on there? I've wanted this book for a while now. And it's been out for a little while in hardback. It's $80 in hardback. And I couldn't bring myself to spend the money on it, especially if I didn't know if I liked the book. It's now in paperback, and on Amazon right now, at least when I got it, it was marked down and it was $18. So I'm like, okay, I'm buying, well, actually I didn't decide to buy the book at that point. I went and checked on Hoopla, and they finally had the audiobook in. So I got the audiobook. I listen to a lot of audiobooks because I can listen to them while I'm driving. I can listen to them while I'm, knitting and crocheting and stuff and doing dishes or whatever. So I used to read a lot, and I would, sit in bed and read and things like that. But if I'm reading, I'm not getting something else done. So I tend to listen to a lot of audiobooks. But anyway, so they had the audiobook, and I've been listening to it, and I have not finished it. I'm not even halfway through it, but I was like, okay, yeah, I like this. So I ordered the book on Amazon. So it just came in yesterday, and it is the Valkyries Loom, and it is by Michelle Hayer-Smith. It's the archaeology of cloth production and female power in the North Atlantic. And it's very reminiscent to the golden thread. Where it is? Somewhere back here in my books. The golden thread was another one, which was talking about the cloth and stuff all around the world, and how, spinning and making cloth and everything had come to be. This one is specifically just about like Norse Viking era in like Iceland and Greenland and everything, and goes through different, not just the production, but the stigma around it and things like that. And it's really been kind of interesting. And at one point in Iceland, I think it was, they were actually using the wool cloth as currency. Ha! I opened it right up to that chapter. They were using it as currency, which was really interesting because they had only a little bit of silver that had been brought over with the colonizers, I guess that would be the word. And when that ran out, they didn't have, that there was no silver mines or anything like that there. So they had to use something else. Well, they had their sheep, and they had their cloth and textiles, and there's a picture. Here's a, oh, I want to focus. Come on. They were actually, you can see them measuring the cloth here, because the cloth that they used for currency was very specific to the size and the thread count, all these different things. Some stuff that I don't fully understand because I'm not a weaver yet. Have the looms, but not a weaver yet. But there was very specific things to standards. There were standards to what the cloth was that was used as currency, as opposed to the cloth that they just used in every day. So it's really, it's a neat book. So if you like that kind of historical thing, it is one that is, a good read. And so like here it says $26.95. It was $18 on Amazon. I will try and remember and link that below. But if you like hardbacks, just be ready to shell out a lot more, because they're still $80 for the hardback. They are currently on sale on Amazon right now too, but you're still looking at like 70 something dollars. So I'm not quite sure why the hardbacks are more, if there's something extra with the hardback, but I'm going to stick with the paperback. Probably takes up less room in my stuff too. So that's actually it. And that ended up being longer than at least it felt like it was longer than I thought it was going to be. But that is what I have for you this week. So lots of works in progress. So we'll see where I'm at next week. Next week I can show you the Wonderland Yarn squares, which by then that video will be out, so you can watch that. And there should be hopefully either a completed Princess Peach or close to a completed Princess Peach. Fingers crossed. And maybe the Musselburgh hat will be restarted by that point. So I don't know. We'll see how this week goes. It's currently sunny and beautiful. It now says it's 67. I don't know what the temperature is doing out there. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and have a wonderful next week. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye.